Hello and welcome back to my channel, and what you're looking at right now is not just your average RTX card. Surprise, surprise! This actually is a 3060. Now, I understand that this definitely does not look like a 3060 at any point or capacity, however, it kinda does check out on the connection side. And this card is from a pre-built PC, and the reason why it's actually on my desk here is to run some benchmarks. So if you knew how I'm getting my cards, usually when people upgrade they give me their old cards to benchmark or to run a test, because you know, a pretty please usually goes a long way. This card was in the pre-built for £1,400 for about 2 days. Then the owner took it out and he slotted in a 2080 because he actually wanted the performance and he wanted good frames and actually play on 4040p. And as ironically as it sounds, I do actually side with the guy who did this, because he was utterly disappointed about the performance of this 3060, and honestly I would be as well, because so basically the story is a bit longer here, but long story short, he wanted to play Wildlands, being inspired by my Wildlands gaming videos, and he couldn't actually get it on full HD to even get 60 frames in ultra settings. And before you start shouting CPU bottleneck, that pre-build actually has very good CPU. It's one of the latest generation i7s, so trust me, there's no bottleneck there. Also, I did see the 3D Mark score, and the CPU is pegging out about 11,000 as in scores. I ran the same score, my CPU is pegging out at 5,000. So that CPU is at least 2 times more powerful or quicker, or doing something better than my CPU. So it's definitely not a CPU bottleneck. Also, I have an i5 96, not overclocked, and that thing he's got is pretty damn good. So yeah, this is basically the card from this pre-build, and I think we need to actually go and plug it in, take a look at it, and do some testing. And of course I'm going to be comparing it to my 1080 Ti for the simple reason that's the only point of reference I currently have at hand. And we're going to see how it basically performs in 4 games. And we're going to be looking at Cyberpunk, we're going to be looking at Far Cry 5, we'll be looking at Horizon Zero Dawn and Wildlands in general. All the tests will be full HD or 1080p, just for consistency's sake. And yeah, maybe we're gonna push this card to 2K, see how it goes. Anyway, I think that's enough for a boring intro. Let's get to it. So, to be fair, I just wanted to quickly touch base here. So this is the GPU we have today, which is the EVGA GeForce RTX 3060 XC Gaming. Supposedly have 12 gigabytes of video memory, and as you can see, it is an actual 3060 card rather than, you know, you might think it's not. And obviously EVGA is writing up very good things about this card, like the cooling via the backplate. You have your own precision, well, control panel, I guess, where you can just like overclock or do whatever you want with it. And it tells you that, you know, this is like the best for gaming and whatnot. They actually wrote it here. The EVGA GeForce RTX 3060 12GB XC cards are designed for players who are ready to step up to a higher tier of performance. Now, this is exactly what we're gonna take a look on today. And yeah, so basically what we will have is 4 games. We will do Cyberpunk, Far Cry 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Wildlands, all of them 1080p, because that person who actually got this pre-build was having issues on 1080p, let alone 4040p. So we're gonna put it to test. It's been installed. We did basically clean reinstall of the driver, so there's no leftovers from the 1080 Ti. And yeah, let's start with 1080 Ti testing, and away we go. So here we are, and as promised, we're gonna start up with a heavy hitter, Cyberpunk 2077. The new update literally dropped yesterday, I believe. So there's new content in it, probably something about jackets or something, but hey, you know, we're not here to look at the jackets, we're here to look at actual in-game performance. So what we're gonna do, quickly let's go over the video settings. So we are on full HD, and for graphics we're running all on ultra. So, well, I think, yeah, we're pretty much pegged out as usually. Everything's on high and ultra, so I don't know. Yeah, there's literally nothing else I can crank out more. So let's just hit continue, see what frames you're gonna get with 1080 Ti, and then we're gonna move over, well, as usually, to the 3060 and see how it fares. So for 3060 we're gonna try 1080p with nothing, well, everything on ultra, and then we're gonna enable DLSS and see if that makes any difference when it comes to frames. Now, when it comes to 1080 Ti, I'm already pretty sure we're gonna be about 60-ish. So yeah, we are at, well, 59, 58. Everything cranked. And it is faring pretty well on 1080p. Well, we are sub 60. Again, all these reflections and smoke effects are not really giving us any favors. But, I mean, again, this is Cyberpunk. Well, it is in a better place than it was when it just launched. So we are kind of getting about 54, 55, reaching 60 now as well. I'm gonna go exactly the same place we went for 3080 Ti, just for consistency's sake. So it's around 60. I would say it's more 55 than 60. So that is kind of how it is. Let's see if driving a bike and crashing into a wall gives us a slightly better FPS at any point. You know, maybe you need to just crash into a wall and everything's gonna be fine from that point on. You never know. You never know. You have to test it out. 51. Ow. It hurts. Yeah, so fast moving details are basically, 48, 49. Ow, we're seeing the big city now, and we're taking a penalty hit because of it. Yeah, 49. So it's safe to say that roughly we are in 50 frames. You know, it's just because it sometimes peaks to 60, by no means, well, basically means that we are playing on 60. So we're kind of on stable 50 now. So I think it's actually good enough for the general consensus of the performance with 1080 Ti and full HD, everything cranked out. Let's see what 3060 will do. Let's see what the new generation card will do. So 3060 is up now, and let's take a peek. So we need to go for settings, double check everything. Everything is motion blur. Quick preset, let's go for ultra and just double check that everything is pegged out, you know. You never know with these things. We're gonna leave the DLSS off for now, and we'll see if it makes a difference. To be fair, I would say DLSS usually saves the day when it comes to it, and we've seen this before. So this is just 1080p performance without DLSS, and 1080 Ti was getting 50 frames. Well, we kind of agreed on 50 frames, give or take. It was kind of 60, below 60, a tiny bit above 60, but moving with a bike through the city was 50, give or take. So we didn't drop below 50. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so we you can clearly see this is exactly what I'm talking about. So even now we're sub 60, and this is the 3060. This is the 3000 card. This is literally almost the same as with 1080. The gameplay does feel way smoother. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a placebo effect. And the card is working at 98%. We're pulling 5.6 gigabytes. So this is a 12 gigabyte card. So memory is not an issue here. And we are kind of lingering 60-ish. So let's grab the bike the same way we're doing it. See if we can not crash and die. Which probably is not really gonna happen. But so far we are at 50 frames. 54, 52. I might need a second pair of eyes because it's so hard to actually see where I'm going and keeping an eye out of the metrics. 54, 56. I mean, it is probably it is worth for an upgrade when you pay retail price, but the problem is these cards are not being sold for retail price. It's very hard to get them for retail price. For whoever is sitting, I would say, I don't know, probably some 960, right? Maybe even 760. Maybe it's an upgrade if you want an RTX card, but performance wise, I don't know. And even right now it's actually at 67 degrees, which is quite hot, I would say, because even my 1080 Ti, well, it does have 3 fans instead of just 2, but it's kind of running, I wouldn't say hot, okay? So it's just nitpicking, because technically GPUs are easily capable of doing, you know, 80 degrees, like 85 I believe is the threshold. But so far we're having 50 frames on full HD. But yeah, you can play Cyberpunk. Anyway, so since we know Cyberpunk does have DLSS, let's turn that bad boy on. We're gonna leave it on auto and see what happens. I do believe we're gonna see a pretty big boost. And here we go. Yes, 72 frames. Absolute win. 66, kind of going back and forth a bit. But yeah, 70 frames. So obviously DLSS is saving the day, and we've seen this before with the 2080. Well, 3080 Ti, I wouldn't even want to count that card as beast. But yes, DLSS, absolutely a must-have. And trucks in your face is not a must-have. Oh, I've seen this one before. So yeah. Absolutely, yes. DLSS and Cyberpunk, yeah, 3060 way to go in comparison to 1080 Ti on. We are maxed out on Ultra, so this is a win. This is a win for 3060. So take note that I'm actually making a note myself here as well. So 3060 was 50 without DLSS and 70 with DLSS. That's 20 frames of improvement. You can feel it. Clearly, you will feel this when it comes to gameplay. And obviously this is on not even that busy street and stuff, but if you're going to be in a gunfight or something, and even if you lose some frames, I do believe you're still going to be within the 60 frame bracket. So it should be absolutely fine. I could actually take you guys on, but anyway. So yeah. Let's move over to Far Cry 5. That's gonna be a pretty interesting title. Our next contender is Far Cry 5, and again, same dance as before. We're just gonna go full HD, no vertical sync. Let's check out all the settings. We are on Ultra, running HD textures. So let's do that. See what score we're gonna get. I'm pretty confident the 1080 Ti is gonna get more than 100 frames. I want to believe. I want to believe. The truth is out there. There must be a 1080 Ti that can get 100 frames. There we go. There we go. Let's enjoy the soundtrack for about a minute. And what do we see here? So the average frames is 114, which is, well, basically expected. So the minimum we get is 80. We're gonna draw it down as the minimum is 80 frames, just for reference point. And let's go with 3060. Actually, not yet. Let's do some live game. Just couple minutes, literally. Just let's load it up. See what frames we get. You know, because again, synthetic benchmarks, you know I hate them, but sometimes they are necessary evil to get at least a baseline, give or take. And we are not getting 114 frames, we're getting kinda 100-ish. Which is still pretty damn good, I must say. You know, it's not like bad or anything. Well, there you go. So roughly 90-ish something. So yeah, I mean, I would say minimum frames are 80, so unless we drop below 80, it can also be our baseline, to be honest. Let's throw a can. Boom. And yeah, driving around 93, 94, 90-ish. 81. Oh my god, yes. So it didn't actually dip below 80, which is kind of good thing, I guess. 71. There we go. If you want to break my perfect streak of above 80, I just did it. Anyway, that's good stuff, so we know how this game performs. Now we can finally go to 3060. So here we are with 3060, and it's time for us to take a look at the same settings as we had for 1080 Ti. So let's go for video. We are on full HD, and that's pretty much all there is. Ultra. The resolution scale is 1 to be consistent results. Let's do the benchmark and see where we end up. So for 1080 Ti it was 114 as an average frame, and 80 frames was the minimum. Let's see if the 3060 can touch this as well. Let's go. So here's the end, and as we can see, so the average frames is 112 and the minimum is 88. So the overall minimum frames we are a bit higher by 8, but we're still 2 frames lower than the 1080 Ti when it comes to average ones. Let's do just a quick run around with the real gun performance. As you know, I just hate synthetic benchmarks, so let's just hit continue and take a look. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much in the same ballpark, and this is a bit weird because I would expect this card to pack a bit more muscle. You know, it's a 3000 series card, so far we're getting what, 85 frames full HD. So clearly, again, nothing even close to 112, which is fine. Let's go for a quick drive. 75, 77. And the GPU is actually doing almost nothing, like 63, 70% of being used, so usage is pretty low, I must say. Still playable in full HD. I'm pretty sure we would not see the same results on 2K. So yeah. Well, I guess this is it, but yes, it is above 60, and that's basically what the point. So let's move on to Horizon Zero Dawn, and this is something I'm quite curious to see for myself. And well, let's get on with this. Horizon Zero Dawn stuff like this. Oh my god, we need to optimize shaders. This is what happens, people. This is what happens when you are swapping out your GPUs and the games are not keeping up with it. But to be honest, it's kind of good sign. If you swap the GPU and the game just doesn't keep the pre-rendered information somewhere, you know, in the back pocket of the PC. So, I don't know, maybe we should just cut to the chase when it's actually 100%. Let's do that real quick. 99, 100, there we go. Anyway, let's jump in, take a peek. Full HD, vertical sync is off, and for graphics we are on custom because, well, motion blur is off. To be fair, we can just go for ultimate quality and leave the motion blur on. Apply them settings. Let's see if they applied. Yep, and let's run a benchmark first, see what we're gonna get, and then we're probably gonna have like a minute or two running around with Aloy. I do believe this is the very beginning of the game and I'm a little annoying Aloy who doesn't know how to throw a rock, but hey, you know, things like this happen when you're a kid. And of course, Horizon Zero Dawn is not pulling any punches. We are literally using 10 gigs of RAM and 6 gigs of video memory. This PC port always surprises me when I launch it, but you know, it's part of the dance here. A little dip at the beginning, so we are basically 84, 86, and everything is looking pretty sweet, I must say. So we are, well, it definitely runs better than the first time it came out. So after all the performance patches, it's been actually patched up finally, pun intended. And I think I'm just gonna shut up for a good 2 minutes, because this is roughly how long this benchmark takes. And, well, enjoy the music and enjoy not hearing my annoying voice. And here we are, so average frames is 96. I'm making a big note here because, well, obviously, what can I say? And minimum is 38. Well, you know the rules. We are all about that actual data here. We're doing science, we're not banging rocks together. You know, kind of tribute to Cave Johnson, whoever, if you know what Cave Johnson is from Portal series. And, well, there we go. Actually, the memory usage was a bit high. It's still actually, it was reaching like 10 gigs on video memory, which was surprising. But, I mean, it is how it is, right? Let's hit continue and hope for the best that it's not the very beginning of the game, because I did kind of uninstall this game, to be fair, but I don't know. I've seen so many gameplays with this game. I just can't get myself to play through this game. You know, I got it and I'm not playing it. It's kind of similar when you have a wardrobe with things. So what do we have? We have 88, 90 frames, full HD. And apparently Aloy is not small. I've done something in this game. It does look very sharp. Very, very sharp. Let us quickly check it. Ultimate quality. Everything is on everything. Jesus Christ, why it's so sharp? Oh, I don't have HDR, but damn. You can put a pin in those pixels. But anyway, trade for a tripcaster. Ah, tripcaster, my old nemesis. So again, roughly 77, 78, 90. It's basically within our baseline, 90-ish, and probably it's going to drop down at some point. After all, we are running with i5, so we can clearly see that the CPU is not really struggling, but the actual system RAM is 11 gigs and video is 6.2 at this point, so we are taxing a part of the system out with this game. Come on, Aloy, you can do this. Anyway, let's see what 3060 has to offer. And here we are with Horizon Zero Dawn, and well, I must say the shader processing took way longer than 1080 Ti, and I really hope it's just, you know, a new GPU trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this game. So what we have is with 1080 Ti got a frame score of 96 and the minimum was 38. So let's make sure that the settings are exactly the same. So we're on full HD. Adaptive performance is off, frames are unlimited, and graphics are on ultimate quality. So away we go. And I'm kind of curious what we're gonna see now, but hey, after all, so far I must say the 3060 is kinda on the same level with 1080 Ti, but you basically get DLSS and RTX. I wouldn't say it's a 4040p card at any point, which is a bit sad because, well, 1080 Ti can easily play games on 4040p. So that might be something you want to consider, but again, the benchmarks are not still yet done. So we do have this game and Wildlands to take a look. So again, I'm gonna shut up and enjoy the benchmark. So, and these are the final results. As you can see, the average frames is 91, so 5 frames less than 1080 Ti. And the minimum frames are the same as 38, so probably this is just the game engine who is saying, hey, we're gonna give you 38 frames. So, to be fair, it's not exactly bad. I would say it's roughly the same score we got with 1080 Ti. So, there you have it. Let's just quickly run around with Aloy a bit and see how it actually looks. But yeah, I mean, so far the score is pretty neck to neck, so to say. So if you still have 1080 Ti, unless you need RTX, I don't see the point of getting one. I might be wrong, who knows. So in here, yeah, it kind of looks the same. Performance wise, 80 frames, 70, stuff like this. I mean, obviously in full HD it's more than enough, right? You get above 60, it's all that matters at the end of the day. But is it worth to get a card in 2021 for just full HD gaming? That's a question you need to answer yourself. Because unless you are willing to spend money to play Cyberpunk with 60 frames, to be fair, you will be way better off with 2070 or 2080 again. Or just trying to wait until the chip shortage ends and you can actually get your hands on 3070 or 3080 or Ti and just future-proof yourself for some time. But yeah, I mean, the results are pretty similar, so let's move on to the biggest concern, which is the Wildlands. And that is something that's probably gonna end this debate once and for all. And the last contestant or contender, I need some English classes, I don't know the difference between these two words, is Ghost Recon Wildlands. Reason being, this is an open world title, pretty much, you know, one of the game wrecking, GPU wrecking, very intense graphics game. And we're gonna basically check all the settings. Since I'm streaming this, I know that I'm on full HD anyway, and well, looks like we are pretty well off here. Ultra with everything apart from depth of field, which is a no point at any capacity or requirement for us. So let's run the benchmark and take a look at the frames we're gonna get during the benchmark. So I would say we should be getting 75 frames at least, but we'll see. Despite being 2017 title, this game is still graphically demanding, which is very odd because the recommended GPU, as I've said in my previous benchmarks, is 970 when this game came out in 2017. And I must say, in 2021, not too many GPUs are able to run this game like constantly on 2K over 60, apart if you're running like 2060 Super, 2070 or 2080 even. But I must say this game looks absolutely amazing. And yes, maybe simply people are not playing it, but they should. You know, you should play this game, and I'm playing this game, and I'm not saying you should do what I do. Definitely, please not. Otherwise, you're gonna end up under a bridge in a box and asking people for change next to church. So yeah, take care of yourself. Definitely don't listen to my advice here. And we are basically getting very good frames. I think we're gonna be over 80. Well, currently we're at 75. Ow. Ow! Goddamn terrorists. Those Santa Blanca guys just blowing up stuff. Come on. Show me them goods! And we are basically at 78, which I believe from a synthetic benchmark is kinda okayish, I guess. 78 is still a pretty good score when it comes to it. Let's do some real world running around, which is literally, again, you know how this works. It's just 2 seconds, run around, look at actual performance, and we're gonna move on to 3060. And for 3060, we'll probably, for all these games we've had so far. We might actually give a go for 4040p. Maybe it's gonna be a separate test, really depends. But I don't know, we'll figure it out. If you want me to do, you know, high resolution benchmarks like 4040p or 2K or 4K, please do let me know in the comments. I'll see what I can do. So here we are, and well, 90 frames, 97, 70. Ugh. I definitely cannot be the auction guy. I can't just keep up with the numbers on the screen, and those guys can keep up with the time flow itself. I think we can try to make ourselves a pancake, so we are kind of 90-ish at least, which is, I would say, a pretty good score. Let's go! So yeah, all of this, pretty good score, 94 frames, full HD. Yeah, one of the reasons I need to cap the frame rate when I'm doing my streams and failing of clearing out all the provinces.
Higher above edges planted to match the digging for them.
As far as the miner's concerned, what's the difference between the two? One boss is as bad as another when you're trapped a mile underground.
So yeah, I must say we're basically pretty well off here. Let's raise some noise. Poor worker. Anyway, so 78 on benchmark and roughly 70. There was 74 just a second ago for reasons unknown. So we're just gonna keep that 75. I think it's 75 is absolute golden middle road for this. Let's go for 3060. So here we are with Wildlands, and 1080 Ti score was 78 frames during the benchmark on Full HD Ultra settings, and the minimum frames during the gameplay was 75, or at least it was averaging. So let's take a quick peek. We are on Full HD, vertical sync is off, frame rate limit is off, and we are absolutely packed with Ultra presets. So it's time to do this. Let's see what's gonna happen. I know this person said that he was getting about 55-ish frames, so I'm gonna be happy if we actually either see the same or it's actually higher. It might indicate a different problem with the pre-built PC he's got to begin with, but who knows. He's very happy with his current 2080. But again, this channel is about real results, no bias. As much as I would like to be biased towards 1080 Ti, results speak for themselves, and it's also on video, so I guess I can't really go back on my word. Or can I? I don't know. And so far we are seeing 60 frames, 59. Well, clearly not as good as 1080 Ti was pulling at 78, but the test is not over yet. And the GPU is doing something. It's at 98%. We're using 5.3 gigabytes and 7 gigs of actual RAM. And it is actually above 60, so that's interesting. Some drops here and there, but clearly a bit better result than it was said. But let's wait until it finishes, and then we'll see for, well, you know, for the the actual result. We'll see for real what's going on. So the end result is 62 frames with minimum being 71, which is still less than 78 produced by 1080 Ti. So I mean, it's not exactly that bad, and Wildlands is quite demanding title, but at the same time, again, I cannot really justify a 3000 series in 2021 not really being able to compete with you know, a 1080 from years back. It just doesn't sit right. Obviously, of course, you can say that when it comes to Nvidia, you see all these bottom tier cards like 1060, 2060, you know, apparently now it's a 3060, and everything in the middle like 1070, 2070, or 2070 Super, or 3070, right? And then you got the top tier, which is the Ti versions, which is again the 1080 Ti, the 2080 Ti and 3080 Ti, with exception of 3090. But at the same time, I mean, I feel that this 3060 should still be better than everything else. So currently we are seeing what, 70 frames, 74. It's not exactly that bad. Let's just get a pickup truck and truck around a bit, you know. I do believe that one of the selling points of 3000 series was better streaming quality, much more a different streaming studio settings and stuff like that. Like, you know, you have your own setup there, but I don't know. I mean, again, 3060 probably feels like an upgrade for some people. But if you have something like 1080, you probably are not even considering such a thing. And I still can't drive while looking at the frames, and so far they're pretty good actually. 74. I mean, this is definitely more than we're getting than the guy who actually got this card, and he was complaining about the performance issue. So I might actually reach out to him and talk about what we're actually gonna maybe troubleshoot his system a little bit here, because end of the day we are getting 74-ish frames on full HD, so I don't know. It's literally we're kind of now currently getting 85, which is already more or equally to what a 1080 would get. Obviously 1080 would get more, but the frame time seems pretty decent. 12, 11. It's kind of hard for me to draw the conclusion here, because everything is just working, you know. It's quite weird. I mean, I would expect slightly different results, but these results are not slightly different. They are pretty similar. So yeah, I can't really draw a line here. In some games the performance was definitely for better on 1080 Ti, but in consideration that you would still have the DLSS and RTX cores, and probably it might be possible to do 4040p. I don't know, maybe you should consider a 3060, or just literally wait it out and get something better like 3070. If you're going for the 3000 series, if you're sitting with something like 960, 1060, then probably you will gain from 3060 as well for at least full HD gaming. But for 4040p, I don't know, it kind of feels a bit underpowered, because again, if we're getting around 60-ish, 70-ish on full HD, then take away third for 4040p and we're basically ending with sub 60, which is the same level as 1080 Ti. It's not constant 60 and 4040p. So I don't know, the decision is up to you guys, but the results are as they are. Basically, even in the benchmark, and currently we're actually having 57 frames. We're looking at the quarry wall, which, well, there's literally nothing going on, and I'm pretty confident this would not happen on full HD with 1080 Ti. But I don't know. Let me guys know what you think in the comments, if there's any other tests you want me to run when it comes to 360, and I'll see what I can do for you. But at this point I'm gonna call it a day, and well, hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay classy.